was actually something when Harris said that the Trump administration had fumbled how they handled COVID-19, and then she went on to say how Biden would have handled it, and Pence, when he lit into her and he was talking about it, he was talking about the swine flu in 2008, and he goes, they are lucky. They are 100% well, he didn't say, I'm paraphrasing. Anyway, so he said they were lucky that the swine flu was not as serious as, said.
Correct. It also wasn't nearly as
because
contagious.
How many? Well, that's not true. There were 60 million cases.
Correct, but as a virus, it's not even close to being as contagious as COVID-19 is.
Oh no, that's the thing. That's exactly why he said they're lucky. It wasn't.
They are lucky.
And the thing is, because they, I'm not an advocate for the shutdowns and whatnot. Like, if everyone would have just, and I hate face masks, I'm just going to say it, but if everyone from the start, because you remember when they finally started asking everyone to start wearing face masks, 5 months into a pandemic.
Well, because they didn't have any.
Yeah, because Fauci lied.
But, Fauci lied to cover up the fact that they didn't have any.
Exactly. And just going to point this out. I don't know if this is 100% true. You might be able to...
Maybe. I don't know.
crush my soul. But, so the PPE was actually... Everything was low.
Pretty damn depleted.
Was depleted when Trump and Fuckface took over office.
Trump and Flyface.
The fly. Anyway, so obviously they were depleted on that, and so that's true. But
you know what, though? I'm not batting for the Obama administration here, but I am kind of throwing some shade at the Trump administration, because it's like, okay, you took office in 2017, early 2017. You knew the stockpile was depleted.
Why didn't you get on it?
Exactly.
Right?
Why?
Exactly. I was actually going to...
So you can only blame the Obama administration so much, and this is a perfect moment to illustrate how we are not necessarily pro-Trump on this podcast. That was one... Somebody did say, it's like, it sounds like you're pro-Trump. I'm like, I usually end up defending the current president, because the sitting president always gets so much shit thrown their way, and a lot of it is nonsense.
And his halftime is impossible to deal with, and they have to fucking do their best.
Yep.
And that's the thing about all this is you can sway whichever way, it doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, policy over personality. Everyone needs to get that out of their damn head and quit thinking that just because they're a great guy doesn't mean they're going to have the best policy.
And if they're a buffoon with no off switch does not necessarily mean their policy is bad. I don't give credit to Donald Trump. I give credit to the Donald Trump administration.
Exactly, because the thing is, if there's one thing that his time in TV and business whatnot has taught us, is that he's very good at putting people in spots, and they do well.
Well, he's also very good at distracting.
Well, yeah.
And
look over here.
No, anybody who thinks... So, again, I brought this up last time, but this is going to sound really, really weird to most people, but there is a point. Trump is a student of pro wrestling psychology. He's playing a character.
I guarantee it.
Now, that character does not necessarily always have to be well received.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is a classic wrestling heel. Classic. And any wrestling fans out there are going, mm-hmm. Because what do the best wrestling heels do? They get people pissed off, and they don't give a fuck. The more angry you make the audience, the more you've done your job.
While I do agree with that, I believe that it's all like WWE.
Oh, speaking of heels.
All of them, though, they act like that,
What do you mean?
They get people riled up.
That's their job.
And the thing is, it's like, that's not a good way to govern.
No, it's not a good way to govern at all. But Trump's an entertainer. Well, and it depends on what you mean by govern. If you're talking about just governing, no, it's not a good way. If you're talking about distracting, if you're talking about red herring in government, it's perfect. And again, it's not good, but it's effective.
Right.
So, if you're wanting to get a questionable piece of legislation passed, and you know what the climate is, well, all you have to do is say something that could be misconstrued as racist if you're Trump. And then now everybody's talking about that. And meanwhile, you get a bunch of judges appointed and tax cuts passed and all this stuff that's kind of like not on the news. And lo and behold, and again, okay, you call Trump a racist? He doesn't care.
No. Because
if you attack somebody for something they say, they have to care. And Trump doesn't care. So
he's got to have thick skin because he gets called out on a daily basis. So
well, it's not even thick skin. It's just like, okay, like if you were to, this is an absurd example, but that's not even a good example. Like if you were to, let me think here. Like if you were to call me a fat slob.
You fat slob.
Exactly. Like what? But do I really boy, does my ego have to be in shambles for me to take that seriously.
Some people, man,
but some people's ego is in shambles.
Yeah, that's true. We know one. We're not gonna mention any names.
We're not gonna mention any names.